Hello and welcome to another CanvasCast. Mike Welker, Instructional Designer and Center for Teaching Excellence. This time we are delving into the strange, mysterious world of the settings menu and more options. So, some very specialized options in here. Basically, if you haven't explored it, it's worth your time just to take a peek at that. Some very interesting features you can add to your course, also some things you can tweak or open up or shut down depending on your interests there. So let's go take a look and see what mysteries are in there. So here we are in my little trusty dusty sample course. We'll find all this magic. We'll of course go to settings on our course menu here. And what we want to dive into, and first of all, make sure we're on the default tab, which is the course details tab. There's a number of different other tabs there. That's a topic for another CanvasCast. But anyhow, course settings, course details tab, and then scroll down and here's the star of our show, more options. So if we give that a single left click, we've got a few different mysteries here. First of all, we'll just start from the top. You can show recent announcements on the course homepage, no matter which course homepage setting you have your course set to. Now, this is, of course, assuming you're using the announcements tool, but if we activate that, then we light up this drop down of, okay, how many of your most recent announcements do you want to show? Bear in mind, the more of these you have, yes, the more it will be on that, but the more screen real estate that's going to take up. So I would recommend 3 or less, but 3 at a maximum. So I'll split the difference and say 2. If we update our course details here to activate that and go back to my home page, then it's going to make room for my most recent announcements there. And no matter what else is going on, in this case, I've got the syllabus view for my homepage, it's going to make room for my 2 most recent announcements here. So that's the first option. I'll then go back to settings, course details, more options here. Then the rest of these aren't quite as dramatic. A lot of these are about access. First of all, let students attach file to discussions. That basically will decide if they have an attach button when they go to reply to a discussion post. So toggling that on makes that button be there. Toggling it off, they have no way to attach files to discussions. No easy way, let's say. Then there's also an option to let students create their own discussion topics or not. Most people run with this off, but in case you're seeing random student discussions there, that's the option to go in and shut that down. Let students edit or delete their own posts. And this is basically saying if you want a record of their initial thinking and not allow them to be able to go back or edit or correct that. This lets students organize their own groups. Highly recommend turning that one off if that's available. And then a couple hidey hole ones here, hide totals in the student grade summary. If this is activated, students will not know what their title is or what their total is when they go to grades. Do not recommend using that setting. That defeats the whole purpose of prompt feedback there. And then hide grade distribution graphs. That just allows students to not have access to see what the grade distribution for a given assignment is. And last but not least is disable comments on announcements. If you do not want students to be able to reply to any announcements, again, assuming you're using the announcements tool, that's for that. Oh, and one last one, who can create, rename, or edit course pages. See our other CanvasCast for the wonders and awesomeness that is pages. By default, this is always going to be only teachers, but you do have an option to allow students to do that should you have some need to do that. Anyhow, any of these options that I activate or change, I then have to click Update Course Details to make that be the case. Being aware that that's where those options live, it can help refine and tune your control and your interaction and the display and your communication of what you're trying to put in your Canvas course. So make sure you're aware of those options. If you haven't looked at what settings are active in that, take the time to go to settings and more options and have a look-see. That's it for this CanvasCast. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and get a hold of us here in the Center for Teaching Excellence.